and welcome to the final council update for 2025. And what a meeting last night. Firstly, I want to thank our community for their attendance, deputations and questions at the last ordinary council meeting for 2025. There wasn't a spare seat in the chambers. Council considered the Meadow Landing Structure Plan for a residential neighbourhood on lot 401 Forest Highway in Rowlands. Previously we asked the community for their feedback and we received 187 responses. So a huge thank you to everyone who shared their thoughts with us. Council heard residents were concerned about increases in traffic volumes, the environmental protection, high density proposed housing and the lack of usable public open space. We also heard feedback that the structure plan may address housing shortages in the area, increased options for first-time home buyers and families, as well as support local businesses. So after much discussion and debate, Council endorsed the officer's recommendation for application modifications to be made by the developer. So any changes will be considered by Council before going to the WA Planning Commission. In other planning matters, Council endorsed the next steps to progress housing projects on Lot 8 Wright Street and Lot 9 Hester Street in Harvey. So this includes starting a rezoning process and preparing a business case for a mixture of lots for government staff housing, affordable and over 55s housing. After that, Council asked the Shire to consult with the community on 3 options for the London plane trees on the Uduck Road medium strip in Harvey. As commuters through the town may know, these trees have unfortunately caused damage to the road and pose a risk to pedestrians and drivers. So this issue was raised as part of the council plan process earlier this year. So the community will be asked to provide comment on the 3 options. And once we receive your feedback, a further report will be brought back to Council to make a decision. Next, Council considered power solutions for the Brunswick Recreation Ground. The Shire has been undertaking major electrical upgrade works at the site and has been exploring cost-effective ways to further increase power supply. After much discussion, Council determined that further upgrades were too costly. Council did support an extension to the Brunswick Agricultural Society partnership funding for the hire of a generator for the annual Brunswick Agricultural Show. Next, Council endorsed changes to the Shire of Harvey's Community Grants Program. So this will start in the 26-27 financial year. These changes include 2 fixed grant rounds per year, an expression of interest process for the infrastructure grants, and increasing funding for the athlete travel subsidy. And the Shire will also introduce a Youth Achievement Grant pilot program. Towards the end of the meeting, Council authorised a budget adjustment to support services at the Leisure Centre. Shortly after, we asked the CEO to explore whether electronic voting is feasible. This was a notice of motion raised by Councillor Craig Carboni to address election challenges such as lower voter turnout, rising costs and results in the delays. The CEO will now engage with the relevant organisations to advocate for this proposal. In the waste management space, Council reviewed a report outlining the financial, contractual, operation, environmental and community implications of the FOGO collection service. Council agreed to wait for advice from the state government on possible solutions. You may have recently heard this morning that the Cook government has announced offering structured rebates over a 3-year period to support the continuity of FOGO services in the southwest. Our council and surrounding councils will be meeting to discuss the comprehensive state government proposal to understand its implementation. And we'll report back to the community in early 2026. A late item about the Brunswick Australia Day breakfast was received by Council. So Council determined that due to the pressures on resources, the Shire would only hold 1 citizenship ceremony on Australia Day in Harvey. and Council will consider the matter again next year to find a sustainable model that would be more acceptable for all of our communities within the Shire. Confidential items were discussed at the meeting, and they included accepting tenders for upgrades to Travis Drive and Cathedral Avenue, plant and equipment hire, and the supply of pre-mixed and hot mixed asphalt, as well as the laying of the materials. So that's it for today. Thank you to everyone that has provided feedback and engaged with Council decision making throughout 2025. I look forward to hearing more from our wonderful community next year. Thank you.